everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to actually take you through the makeup I wear to work because I feel like it's important for me to be able to show products that last on my face, things that look good and stuff like that while I'm at work. So the couple of things I just want to point out is one, I am incredibly oily. However, that has settled down a little bit since I have figured out my skincare routine. Two, because I'm incredibly oily, you know, products don't look dry. They don't tend to look dry or go dry and creasy on my face. They tend to go very oily, particularly my nose, my forehead, my chin, my upper lip. I mean, it gets to the point where sometimes my skin's oily down here because it's just spread out. So I have to find products that work. And usually the only foundations that work for things like this is Estee Lauder Double Wear, Maybelline Matte and Poreless, but I have found a few other things that actually work for me, and most of this is affordable. The other things that I change and chop around you can find affordable versions of. I just currently have high-end. Most of these items are affordable, like I said. Most of these items are the exact items I use. Every now and then I may switch things around, so you know, I might change my bronzer, I might use a different blush. 99% of the time this is the makeup I wear to work. It's very simple, it is very easy, but I just want to take you through the products that I actually use because, you know, most of it's affordable. Most of it is affordable in Australia because things here are not overly, you know, we can't buy Wet n Wild and things like that here, so we have to make do with other stuff. So if you guys want to see the makeup I wear to work, then just keep watching. The first thing is foundation. I tend to not wear primer at work just because I find it's an extra layer I don't want to put on my skin, so I just go in straight up with foundation. And I actually use this MUD Makeup Design Flawless Finish Foundation. Flawless skin all day. I actually have the shade 01 Ivory. This shade actually works for me pretty much perfectly. I tend to like my foundations to be ever so slightly darker because otherwise I look very ghostly. This brand you can get at Woolworths here in Australia, and I have to say, unless you are someone that goes oily like literally straight away, this is actually a very nice foundation. It covers perfectly for where you just want to have stuff covered but you don't want to be like photoshopped flawless. I just put it on with my sponge and I start with one side of my face, obviously, and I just pounce it in. It has a very, very slight scent. Very, very faintly smells like a cleaning product, like lemon type cleaning product. Don't know why. I mean, it's not heavily scented, so it's probably not a scent that would break you out or anything. I wouldn't be too worried about it in terms of things like that. I mean, it doesn't break me out. And as you can see, it's just looking beautiful on my face. Rightio, so I'm just going to put my M.A.C Paintpot on my eyes because this is what I use as my eye primer. And yeah, I may get my concealer over the top, but as long as I have this on the bottom, I'm fine. Next up is concealer, and I always use the e.l.f 16 Hour Camo Concealer. I mix this in with absolutely everything. This particular shade, Fair Beige, I cannot use on its own. It's like stark white, so cannot use this on its own. That's part of the reason why I mix it. And lately I've actually been mixing it in with the Covergirl Outlast concealer. This is too dark and just doesn't have enough coverage for me personally. So I mix them both together, and I think this is one of my favorite concealers I've ever mixed this e.l.f. one in with. I mean, I just do a tiny little dab of both and it works really well. I mean, I just use that and I mix it together, and it creates a really nice colour for under my eyes. I can't mix it too much to make it go too bright, otherwise it will look funny, but I just blend it into my face. On how pale I mixed it depends on if I put it on my chin and my Cupid's bow and like in between my eyebrows. This is super pale mix today, so I will be blending a little bit of it. Plus I have some left over and I don't want to full on waste it, so I'll just blend it. And with it being matte now, it just keeps the center of my face like shine free as well. Here we go. So for under my eyes, I normally use this Savvy by Designer Brands powder. So I'm going to have real bright under eyes today because this is like a white powder, because most of mine for some reason darken under my eyes. Even my Australis Fresh and Flawless, like formula wise, I could use that under my eyes, it's really nice, but for some reason it darkens on me. On the rest of my face, I do use my Maybelline matte maker. I would normally also use either my Rimmel Stay Matte, like alternating as well, but this shade is actually really pale, and my Rimmel Stay Matte tends to make my foundation darken quite a bit, so I tend to not use that with this color, this foundation, because if I'm at work, like, I don't want everyone to go, oh my god, ew, she doesn't know anything about makeup, when I do. Like, I can't help it if my powder darkens my foundation. So this is typically the one I will use with this foundation. This is typically the one I will use when I go to work because like I said, my foundations tend to be too dark, and this lightens them a little bit to make them match me a little bit more. Slash, like, my Maybelline one's slightly too orangey, so it like adds that yellow tone back. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to do my brows now, and depending on how lazy I am, depends on whether I use my Maybelline brow pencil or my Rimmel brow this way. I'm going to use my Rimmel brow this way because I am much more lazy feeling today. Basically, like, yeah, I use this when I'm feeling lazy, because basically, when I was learning to do makeup, I learnt to do my eyebrows on these type of products, not with pencils. So using a pencil can be very like time consuming for me, because it's not that I was never taught, but I mean, it's just, that's one skill I never was able to pick up. And the Maybelline one, it also depends too, because this Rimmel one sometimes has a bit more of a warm orange tint to it than what I like, so it just depends if I'm wanting to be perfect or not. If I need to clean up my brows at any point, I have this Rimmel Match Perfection Concealer. I don't like it as a concealer, but because of the brush and everything, it's super handy to tidy up my brows. And now I've learned it is so much easier to tidy up my brows before I put the powder over the top of it. So I know this is over the top of foundation when I'm wanting to be really perfect, like even if it's not when I'm going to work, like I mean just in general, if I want my makeup to look even better, I will put my foundation on and then I'll do my brows so I can use the concealer to touch up, and then I'll do my concealer and powder and everything. But if I'm just going to work, I mean typically I don't really care what my brows look like. But I also mean this concealer isn't too bad over the top of everything. I mean, it's not like some of them where it just cakes up and looks horrendous. I'm going to do bronzer. Typically, I always do blush, bronzer and highlighter, but if I was only going to do one, probably bronzer, because it shapes my face and adds that warmth back. I am going to use my Loreal Glam bronze today, but I have to admit lately I have been using my Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil. I really just need to buy another one because I've used up like 2/3 of it. So that's another reason why I'm just using this one today, because I'm actually not going anywhere. So I don't want to waste like bits of my Too Faced bronzer right now when I am not going anywhere. But I mean, I will use this bronzer. I will use my NARS one. I mean, sometimes I just change things, but really my everyday bronzer colour is the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil. This one I tend to really only wear if I'm going to contour as well, or if I'm going to wear super cool toned eyeshadows and possibly even like a slightly cooler toned lip, because this just like adds the warmth to my face. I mean, this is probably too orange, but I don't really care anyway. So right now, I'm not going to do it as intense as I normally do, just because this is quite orange. But I will do my bronzer and blush quite intense because I have oily skin. It will absorb everything down. So, you know, 5 hours later, the colour will not be as bright. I mean, I don't make it to where I look like a clown right off the bat. But because I have oily skin, my face does absorb a lot of the colours and a lot of the powder. So I tend to make it a bit more intense and a bit more bright, particularly with my blush. So this Mode blush in the color Cupid tends to be my everyday blush when I'm going to work because it's matte, but it still has that super natural and like almost peachy look to it. So it's a very nice, flattering color. It's affordable. It blends nice on my face. But it's matte. I tend to not like to wear glowy blushes and things when I'm at work. And pretty much the last product I go in with for my face is highlight. And the only reason, I have to admit, I bought this specifically to use as a highlighter for work. And this is the mini version of the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Diffused Light. I have dim light and it looks like it'll be a really nice beigey shade on me. And then it goes flat out orange. I mean, so I have not diffused light, I have dim light or dim infusion, something like that. And it looks like a really nice shade, but it goes super orange. I mean, in the pan, it'll look nice and beige. Swatch it on my hand and on my finger, it'll look nice and beige. Put it on the back of my hand, swatch it back on my face, and it looks orange as hell. So I really can only use that color when I am very deeply tan or like in the summertime or something. So I ended up buying the paler shade for me to use when I'm fair. So this is the shade I use as a highlighter when I'm going to work because it just adds like a bit of a glow to my skin without being obnoxious and horrible. I mean, if I was going somewhere, like even going out clubbing, like a lot of our clubs here, they have professional photographers that will take photos for their Facebook page and stuff. I mean, this would be, you know, going out clubbing, it could be a bit different. But I mean, like formals, weddings, you know, even your high school photos, you know, school photos, stuff like that. This highlighter would be really nice. It shows a glow to the skin, but it's not obnoxious. It's not a strobing powder. I mean, honestly, I'm probably going to go through this little one so quickly, but I cannot bring myself to buy a full size. I mean, this is the perfect powder for me to use as like an all over face glow. I mean, look at my forehead. I mean, that's glowy and dewy, but like you wouldn't know it. Sometimes I feel like I need a bit more highlighter on the tops of my cheekbones, but then I'll go a bit oily during the day and I just don't really care. So the last thing I use is mascara, and I at the moment am using a mini version of the NARS Climax mascara. I have to say this has become my absolute favorite mascara. I mean, look how tiny it is. But I mean, this has become pretty much my favorite mascara. It is absolutely beautiful. It separates my lashes, it's volumizing, it's lengthening. I can put just a very small fluffy coat on and get like super natural lashes, or I can build it up. I'm going to do right now, because basically I'm then just going to sit here for an hour and then go wash it all off. So I'm not going to build it up too much, but this is my new love, and I think it would actually be a really nice layering mascara as well, but it looks beautiful. I am just going to try a tiny bit of this OXX mascara over the top to see if it does anything. Do that much. Probably need to put this one on first because this is a bit more of a natural mascara. And there we go. Other than that, I pretty much just wear lip balm, just a clear lip balm or pore ointment. I don't put lip colours on because I'm constantly drinking water and things at work, because I'm, you know, you get hot and thirsty, and when you're bored, like if you're really slow, everyone goes and has a drink. So I don't wear lip colours. I don't like drinking and eating things with lipstick on, and I'm also worried it'll like smear all over my face, so no. This is my work makeup. I know it is so simple and so easy. I mean, I basically just wanted to let you guys know about this foundation because, I mean, it looks beautiful on my face. It looks nice and smooth. It's covered everything up. No matter what concealer I wear with it, I mean, I have just used my Rimmel Wake Me Up the other day and it just blended beautifully. I mean, as you can see, it's got decent enough coverage for every day. I mean, possibly too much for some people, but I mean, I can still see my scars and stuff coming through, but they're not obnoxiously red, and it's not necessarily a foundation someone would look at and go, oh my god, she's wearing makeup. Like, it doesn't look like that. It looks nice and smooth in between my eyebrows. It doesn't even sink into my indents here really bad. I don't get creases. It's too wide to be a crease, but as you can see when I go like this, I have really large indents here, and that happens from smiling and everything and laughing and that, and when I'm at work I do that all the time. The products that I used will be listed in the description box down below. Sorry, there's a crow outside. And my social media sites and everything, so please go check them out. You can hit the subscribe button, which is also down here. That would be very much appreciated, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!